Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka YouTube's number 2, and Picard is back with its 5th episode. Our mission is to boldly go where no one has gone before and give our thoughts on the new entry as well as what could be happening in the future. Throughout this video we'll be discussing the ins and outs of the 5th episode's plot, its Easter eggs and what we thought of it as a whole. We will be engaging with heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to catch the show yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. With that out of the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into our breakdown of Picard episode 5. Okay, so just a quick recap of the series so far. After the death of Data's daughter Dahj, Picard made it his mission to track down her twin sister Soji. Picard put together a crew and set out into the stars to find her. Along the way he picked up a young Romulan from his past named Elnor and also bumped into 7 of 9. Episode 5 picks up on the planet Vergison at the Seven Domes, and this is a flashback set 13 years ago. This continues the aesthetic that we've had so far in the season, and it looks like all of our episodes are going to open in the past to showcase how things happened the way that they did. The Star Trek Voyager episode, Imperfection, ties in heavily with this entry, so if you want some required reading, that's probably what you need to check out. It's not completely compulsive, but it does set up a lot of things here. We see a grueling operation in which a synthetic eye is removed from Icheb, who you may remember from Star Trek Voyager. The actor is different, so I didn't initially pick up on this, but it is indeed the same character. Icheb was a former Borg drone that was discovered by the Voyager, and he eventually joined the crew and became a close friend of 7 of 9 due to their commonality. We learn in the episode that the gangster Vajazzle, no, not Vajazzle, has been butchering ex-Borgs for parts, and this is why she has the character captive here. 7 of 9 shows up to save the day, but it's too late and Icheb asks for death due to his wounds and the experimentation. 7 of 9 begrudgingly carries this out, and it's a big death for the season that I'd actually be interested to hear reactions to. I don't want to make too many assumptions here as to what's going on, but it's clear that the Borg are once more being painted out as the victims rather than the bad guys that they used to be. This adds further weight to the theory that they're being persecuted, and I'll get into this later in the breakdown. From here we jump to Stardust City in Freecloud 2 weeks prior to the events of the show. We discover that Bruce Maddox has gotten deep with the gangsters, most namely Vajazzle. Maddox has been one of the main MacGuffins of the show so far, along with Soji, and it's good to finally see the character in an episode. We learn that the Tal Shiar are after him, and this is likely because of his work on Dahj and Soji. It's been long said that Maddox is the cyberneticist that created the two because he was wishing to make an android that was as complex as Data. He may have achieved this in the twins, and thus he is a key component in finding them. We also know that their mother was fake, and it's very likely that they have different simulations that have raised them through Maddox's programming. He reveals in the episode that he knows where they are, and this pretty much confirms that it was him that sent the characters to their respective locations. Dahj's mother did tell her to go find Picard, so it's likely that he's been a guardian angel for them. In the episode we learn that Agnes and Maddox had a relationship, and this is why she joined the quest. I do think that she is a mole because Ol went to see her, and though we'll find out, there are a lot of clues in this episode. Now, similar to Icheb, the original actor did not return for Maddox, and it is a shame that they didn't manage to get the two back. Maddox is drugged by Vajazzle and she plans to sell him to the Tal Shiar, and this becomes the thrust of the episode's plot. Picard and 7 of 9 have a sit down, and we learn that the latter is pretty much a vigilante that works for a group known as the Rangers. The Rangers have been going through the galaxy and righting wrongs, and this makes her want to align herself with Picard. She joins the mission as a trusted ally and helps them a lot in this entry. 7 of 9 spent 2 decades living on Earth, and this is why his speech pattern has changed quite a lot. Jerry Ryan, who plays the character, said that this was a conscious choice to show how much she has changed. In order to get to Vajazzle and thus Maddox, 7 of 9 offers herself up, knowing that her Borg parts will be irresistible to the character. This will hopefully sway Vajazzle away from dealing with the Tal Shiar, and instead she will hopefully sell to them. They infiltrate Stardust City, and the Las Vegas-esque location requires some fancy dress and some new identities. It's a hilarious aesthetic in the episode, and by far the biggest departure for the show thus far. It's a lot of fun, and though I was worried this scene would be like the Canto Bites bit from Star Wars The Last Jedi, they have their tongue placed firmly in their cheek, so it works a lot better in my opinion. The group have to pretend to be the bad guys, and it's funny seeing the over-the-top gangster get up, eye patch and all. It's hammy as hell, and I loved seeing that Elnor basically has the personality of a Buckingham Palace guard. It's more in line with episodes of The Next Generation, and it's nice to see this style in the show. Raffi has her own mission and goes looking for a man named Gabriel Huang. This takes her to Stardust City Reproductive Health Services, which turns out to be a family planning clinic. Here we learn that Gabriel is in fact a son, and the two have an estranged relationship because Raffi went off the deep end after a career was ruined in the wake of Picard's resignation. Raffi became a conspiracy theorist, and due to her belief that the attack on Mars was an inside job, this drove a wedge between them. Starfleet knocked down the towers. This further adds weight to the theory at the moment that the Romulans were behind the synth uprising, and that they carried this out in order to make the galaxy hate synths as much as they did. Due to the supernova striking their planet, they had the perfect alibi, and the government could have viewed this as a necessary sacrifice in order to get their way. We do know that a lot of Romulans survived, and it could be possible that these were specifically chosen by the leaders of the planet in order to weed out the weak. Either way, this thinking that something else is going on has massively damaged Raffi's relationship with her family. Gabriel's wife is a Romulan, and we can assume from this that a constant digging at something may have caused problems, especially if she believes that the Romulans had something to do with it. The Romulans knocked down the towers. Anyway, I'm jumping the gun a bit, but it paints how deep that the repercussions of Picard's actions are, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see that she won't really be in a grandchild's life. Back in the hive of scum and villainy, Vajazel and Seven of Nine come face to face once more. We get a lot more of Seven of Nine's backstory filled in, and it turns out that they have a history, but she managed to get away and she's had a vendetta ever since. It's revealed that getting to Vajazel has been Seven's plan the entire time, and that she's played Picard just as much as they were playing the gangster. Turns out that after the rescue attempts decades prior, that the universe destabilized and Seven of Nine went to Fenris to try and keep the peace. There was an ambush, and Icheb was taken by Vajazel during this and stripped of the parts that we saw in the introduction. Vajazel offers a trade-up of her life for Maddox, and the group begrudgingly agrees. With Maddox, they travel back to the ship, and Seven of Nine decides to part ways. She takes guns from Picard, but she offers up her services for the future, which I think the character will definitely be picking up on when he's been painted into a corner. Seven of Nine is of course part Borg, so it does make sense with the fact that they are going to the Borg cube in the future. Their parting is a really somber moment, and Picard says that after leaving the collective he did lose some of his humanity, but it is possible to get it back, and that they have to work on it. Seven of Nine clearly doesn't have hers yet, but she'll try to regain it every damn day of her life, or so we think. She returns immediately to Vajazel, dual-wielding the guns that she's just taken, and says that she didn't want to destroy Picard's hope, and thus pretended that there would be some good in her potentially. She kills Vajazel and goes out guns blazing, and personally, it's my favourite moment in the season so far. I really think it works well, and I loved going from the emotional moment of the exchange between Picard and Seven to pretty much this all-out brawl. Picard breaks the news to Maddox that Dahj is dead, but he confirms that she does have a sister and that she's on the Borg cube. Agnes looks suspicious as hell at this point, and again, this does make me believe she's a mole that's relaying information back to Starfleet. Maddox reveals that he sent Soji to the cube to find the truth about the conspiracy that's going on between the Romulans and the Federation. I do believe that the Federation are tied in with the Romulans, and we do know from Admiral Clancy that several systems were planning on leaving until the synthetic uprising, and it is possible that the two were in it together. We also learn that Agnes was part of Soji and Dahj's programming, and that she helped in creating them. She murders Maddox, potentially to cover up her involvement, and though she seems heartbroken, it's clear that someone is pulling the strings with her. I do believe that Starfleet is behind this, and that they sent Agnes to find out what Soji knows, as well as where the nest could be. There has been lip service paid to the nest, which is where Maddox could have hidden the rest of the synthetics. I'm not 100% on that theory, so yeah, drop your thoughts if you pick something else up, as I'm sure many people will have differing opinions. As for next week, it looks like Picard and co are finally going to the Borg cube to try and rescue Soji. We see that she's close to discovering who she really is, and personally, I believe it will be revealed that she is the Borg Queen, and this is why the Romulans have been keeping such a close eye on her. The fact that she can activate and easily kill people shows that she has some untapped power, and someone known as the Destroyer is likely a high-ranking member of the androids. We see that Picard is having flashbacks to being a Borg himself, and though I have seen some people say that he may be assimilated next week, if you rewatch the promo, it's definitely shown as a flashback. This will probably be the way that they open the episode next week, as yeah, you know they love a good flashback. Overall, there's a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. This is my favourite episode so far, and I'm glad that the show is just constantly improving. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Picard, so comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our full breakdown of the series so far, which is going to be linked at the end. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. You get access to content early and can also suggest video topics and breakdowns. We massively appreciate it. It goes a long way to helping videos like this get made. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with heavy spoilers, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.